What's up, my friends? It's Jason. I am back, and today I'm going to talk to you about used camera gear and why you should probably consider buying used rather than brand new. So one of the things that I've actually bought in the past are lenses, because lenses can go up to $2,500 to $3,000 just for a lens. But if you buy secondhand, you can generally cut 50% off. It depends on the condition of the lens. This is probably one of the cheapest lenses I got. It was $50 for a, what was it, it was a 70mm to 300. And I also got the 18 to 55 kit lens with it. $50 for both of the lenses. Now, the one thing you want to look for is obvious markings on the lenses, and definitely if there's going to be some fungus on the inside of the lens. You want to check both sides of the glass, look straight through it, and if you can, definitely put it on your camera, because you do want to check to see if the focus is still sharp. So definitely bring your camera along when you're actually buying second-hand lenses. If you are getting it off eBay, it is obviously going to be a lot more difficult because you're not able to see the product before you buy it. You want to be able to feel how the lens zooms in and out. If it is a zoom lens, or if it's a prime lens, then obviously you won't have to worry about the zoom, but focus is the most important, and how clean the glass is. So some of the things you want to look out for is obvious markings. If you can see that it's very worn, then you probably realize that it might not be cared for as much, but sometimes it could just be used over and over and over again, and it's just got your standard wear marks with your fingers. So this lens here, it did have some fungus. You can see here on the inside of the lens there, you can see that there is a little bit of markings on the inside. It doesn't affect the lens as much, but you could still possibly see it in some of the photos. But for $50 for two decent lenses, I use these for when I was actually a beginner. They're the two lenses that I started off with, obviously the 18 to 55 and then the 70 to 300 to get me that whole zoomable length. Now, one of the other things that I did buy secondhand was my 1J5. Now, I bought this, get this right, I bought this for $380. The box, he gave me the receipts. It was still under warranty. On the box and on the receipts, it was $680. That was obviously inclusive of the 10 to 30mm VR lens by Nikkor, but he also had the FT1 Nikon adapter. So this one, obviously, I can use any of my FX or DX lenses on this. This thing here is worth over $300 by itself. Now, I got the camera for $380. This is worth over $300. Pretty much I got the camera for free when you think about that. So these are the deals you want to be looking out for. I got that on Gumtree. There are different websites you can go, Amazon, eBay, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace is a really good one. But just inspect the product if you can. That is the biggest tip you can take away from today. Please inspect the product. You must inspect and check out the quality of the lens or the camera, for instance, if you're going to look at cameras. If you do buy secondhand, you can get brilliant deals that's going to save you a lot of money. And obviously in the long run, you're still going to get decent quality photos and images. It all depends on what deal you can actually get. Now, if one of the lenses has VR, make sure you pop it into VR and take some photos. But don't just take photos, pop it into video mode and check out if the lens VR stabilizer is actually working correctly, because you do not want to buy a VR lens that's not actually functional, because if you can drop it, you can actually wreck the VR inside the lenses. Now, if you are looking for cameras secondhand, make sure you ask what the camera shutter count is, because you can actually jump on some websites, you upload the most recent photo and you can see the shutter count on the camera and see how old the camera actually is. because if it's a really old camera but they've barely used it, it could be in awesome condition and you could get a fantastic deal. But it could be a brand spanking new camera, but the shutter count could be over 100 to 200,000 shots. Obviously, that's a lot of use out of the camera. So one of the biggest things about the cameras being, the DSLRs being used so much is the mirror. Obviously, when you take a photo, the mirror flaps to project the image onto the sensor. And the shutter can become worn, and then obviously it needs to be serviced or replaced. So just be cautious when you do get secondhand cameras like that. Always ask for the shutter count. Once again, if you do buy a secondhand camera, inspect around the whole camera to see if there are any marks of dropping it, because it is very common to drop cameras. Even if it's from a little bit of a height, it can damage it depending on the surface you drop it on. So just look out for obvious markings. Check to see if all the buttons are working, all the functions are working. Just take your time. If you're gonna be spending the money and you're gonna try and save the money, you don't wanna buy a lemon, because you don't wanna be paying out extra cost to try and fix it to get it up to the quality that you could have just already bought a brand new one for. So just take your time, inspect it, and you may save a couple of hundred, or you even may save thousands of dollars over time. The biggest thing is, if you cannot inspect the lens, ask for as many photos as possible. So get close in zoom ups of every single corner of the camera or lens. Make sure they send you photos of the glass, both ends of the glass. So you've got obviously the back end, and then you've got the front end of the glass. You wanna make sure it's crystal clear, no scratches, no markings, depending on obviously the price and condition you're willing to pay for and willing to go for. You know, these lenses can, the 70 to 200, 2.8, this one can be up to, you know, $1,400, depending if you get the VC version or the non-VC version. The Nikon versions can be up to $2,800. You could save yourself $500 to $600 just buying second hand, and it will be tack sharp and it'll be pretty much brand new. The tough thing is that you don't have the warranty and the backing by Nikon or Tamron, Sigma, whichever brand you go for, because you don't have the receipt. But if they do have the receipt, definitely get the receipt off them. So I hope those tips helps you guys. Please like and subscribe to my channel just so I can bring you some more videos just like this. Thank you. I shall see you next time.